Hey guys, so Olivia Dean, as you guys know, I'm a huge Olivia Dean fan. And she said something in one of her videos where she basically was talking about the importance of learning to love yourself before you can truly love someone else. And it made me think about how when I was single, and it made me think about the initial excitement, of getting a girl's number, the initial excitement of like seeing the response to one of your texts and everything, and just feeling that hit of like dopamine, that validation of okay, wow, like I think this girl's pretty. Maybe she thinks I'm pretty as well, or not. Maybe she thinks I'm attractive as well, or maybe she thinks I'm handsome as well. You guys know what I mean. But what is it called? But yeah, essentially the problem was though, just as quickly as you felt validated for getting a girl's number or for getting that response, is just as quickly as you could start to feel invalidated, or just as quickly as you could start to feel unattractive if she doesn't respond, if she stops responding. Like I remember there was this one girl who whose number I'd gotten and everything. And this was probably, I think it was like before I went to college, but I'd gotten her number and everything. And like we were talking and stuff. And we never ended up going on a date, but I just felt like things were really like hot and cold. It was kind of like, okay, I'd get a response. Then, I'd wait like 3 days for another response or like whatever. And so it was just this like constant pull of me constantly being like, okay, well, she into me, is she not? And it was just like, okay, I get a response and get super excited, and then I'd be waiting like a few days to get a response, and sometimes I wouldn't get a response, and I'd hit her up again. And mind you guys, like I was a rookie. Like obviously, like if if that would have been, let's say, when I was in dental school or whatever, like I would have gotten the message sooner. But before college, you're more, I guess, naive, and you're just like, oh yeah, no, maybe she was busy, that's why she took 3 days. Maybe she didn't respond because she just forgot. I just have to remind her I'm still around and I'm still interested. It's like rookie mistakes that we all make. And so, but yeah, it reminded me of just that roller coaster of emotions, of like, 1 minute you're like, oh boom, like she responded, let's go. And then the next minute you're just like, damn, maybe I don't deserve a response. Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe, I'm just not attractive enough. Maybe I'm too socially awkward. Maybe I should have said this instead of that. Or maybe I asked the wrong question in that text. And so it just made me think about how crazy it is. Just an action from someone that you barely know can just completely determine not only like your day and how you feel about your day, but also just how you feel about yourself. And that's why I think for the longest time, I was so hesitant to even approach women like that, because in my mind, I was like, well, what if she says no? If she says no, it's going to hurt my feelings, and I'm going to feel really bad about myself. But what I had to learn was it's not so much about, okay, well, she said no, or this didn't work out, or whatever. It's more so about the fact that you're essentially allowing someone that you barely know to completely determine how you feel about yourself. And that's where the problem arises, right? When we're in this place where it's like, okay, if I'm getting girls, I feel attractive. If I'm not getting girls, I feel ugly. And the problem is, I was thinking about it and I was like, man, it's so crazy how a girl can make you either feel like you're the most attractive person in the world or the ugliest person in the world when you have no sense of self-esteem, when you have no self-worth. It's crazy how one action, or one, I guess, like inaction or a lack of action, can completely determine how you move, how you walk, how you feel about yourself. And honestly, like I first started lifting weights because I really was just insecure about myself. I feel like I needed that validation of, or I needed that feeling of, okay, I'm working towards something, and one day I might not be the most attractive person now, but once I put on some muscle or whatever, I will be that person. But the thing is also, once I noticed that like when you have that mindset with working out, you're only setting yourself up for failure in the long term, because what happens when you put on that 20 pounds of muscle or that 30 pounds of muscle and it doesn't lead to you getting the results that you thought? Now, if anything, if that was your only objective, if that was your only motivation to working out, to eating right, to being disciplined, if that was your motivation, then you're going to feel worse even after than you did before, because you're going to think, man, like I just figured if I put the muscle on, that would solve all my problems. But the thing is, the lack of muscle oftentimes isn't the problem, it's the lack of self esteem. It's the lack of self worth. It's the lack of self love. It's the lack of confidence in who you are and what you represent. And even the other day, like I was listening to the song, I think it's called Wanna Be Cool. But if you guys remember, if you guys like are Chance the Rapper fans, it was on that album Surf that he did with Nico. I think his name is Nico Segal now or something, but he used to be Donnie Trumpets. But on that song, Big Sean has a line where he says, all that confidence that I was trying to buy myself. If you don't like me, F it, I'll be by myself. And so for me, it's so crazy because when I was in college, I lacked the self-esteem, the self-love. And honestly, even after college, I would say I didn't really get confident in myself like that till maybe my second year of dental school. So I was probably maybe 25 before I fully got confident in like who I am and like what I represent. And for me, what kind of did it was getting my nose pierced and feeling like, okay, well, wow, this looks really cool on me. But that's another story for another video. But yeah, and so on that song, like it just made me realize, like, because I was listening to it last week, it's crazy how I was really scrawny all throughout high school and everything. So I started, hitting the gym. I put on a little bit of weight, and I still felt like, man, I still feel like I'm not getting girls like that. So then I figured, okay, and at the same time, mind you, I'm like lifting weights, putting on size, but I'm also trying to like buy clothes at the same time to be like, oh, well, if I buy clothes that I really like, that'll help me with my confidence. So I was putting a lot of my confidence in these brands. Like I was leaning heavy on like Ralph Lauren. I really liked Hollister. I think was like the bee's knees back then. Like that was the vibe. And so I loved Hollister. And so I was like working, like doing these things, whatever. And so it was crazy because I realized, like, hold on, this stuff still isn't really doing anything for my confidence to the point where, like, it's long lasting confidence. I feel like my confidence is still just kind of coming and going. But of course, like, yes, the nose ring played a role in it. But I also think what also played a role in it is there was something about, I guess, me also being, 25 at that point and stuff. And, like, just being like, okay, now this is who I am, and like me just learning to embrace it. I think I used to be really insecure about my personality. I used to be really insecure about how kind and how nice I was to people. But there was a certain confidence and peace I got when I just made my peace with it. I stopped fighting it. I stopped sitting here going, woe is me. How come, I don't talk like this, or how come I'm not a little more edgy or whatever. I started to realize, you know what, like I am who I am. And I think maybe the nose ring just kind of helped all of that stuff to come together, where I just realized, you know what, like this is who I am. And if a person doesn't like with me or doesn't like me or vibe with me, that's okay. Because what I also came to realize was, at the end of the day, you just need one person to find you attractive, to love you, to want to build a future with you. You don't need 100 girls to find you attractive. You don't need all these people on Instagram or whatever blowing up your DMs every time you post. You don't need any of that. You really just need one person that's down to build with you, that's down to really just take that journey with you. And so it even just made me think about how, like sometimes in movies, they'll be like, oh, like you complete me. and things like that. And the more that I thought about it, the more that I'm like, no one should ever complete you. The point of a relationship is that it's two people that are already whole in their own right coming together to build something new themselves. And this is the problem when we're dating from this deficient kind of mindset of like, oh, well, I need someone to complete me. I need someone to help me feel confidence, help me feel a way about myself. When we're dating from that mindset, from that perspective, of course we're going to be super insecure, and of course we're going to be, just down bad when things don't go our way. And so the key ultimately is to just remember that you have a sense of self-worth, to remember that you have something to offer, and to move accordingly. Because when you feel like you don't have anything to offer, when you feel like the other person is the catch and you're just kind of existing and you're just kind of along for the ride, then it's hard to really show up as yourself, and it's hard to show up as the person that you need to be when you're so focused on just being happy to be there. And so, if anything, I hope this video kind of was a chance for you guys to learn about the importance of not allowing your self-worth to lie in other people's hands, basically. To not allow, especially in this day and age, like with dating apps, to not put all of your faith in dating apps, not put all of your faith in these people that barely know you and things like that. And so that might be another video for another day, talking about, dating apps and how that can also just destroy your confidence. But I hope that this video helped you guys to realize that you guys are worthy, that you are worthy of love, you guys are worthy of attention, you guys are worthy of the best things that life has to offer. And so I hope that this video brought you guys value. I have a book that I wrote that's called Already Chosen, and I'll link it in the description below. But essentially it talks about the importance of finding your worth in Jesus' love for you and not looking to other humans to gain that love. And so I hope that if you guys are interested, check that out as well. And I launched a community on Skool as well. And my whole reasoning for launching that community is to have a place where, as people, we can kind of talk about different ways to improve ourselves, to find that right relationship, but also, even if we're in relationships or you're married, but to also help all of us to maintain those relationships. And so I hope that this video helped you guys out. If you guys are interested in any of those things, check the links out below in the description. And as always, I will talk to you guys in the next video.